on a roll of these live streams, and I realized that there's all sorts of lunacy that could go down on there. I decided let's not even pretend to position it as anything else. Anyone's welcome, lunatics are welcome. Let's just see where this goes. And this, I think it's my third one that I've done for like longer than a minute. And I know that anyone could turn up, any question could come on here, and any lunatic is welcome. So I've just decided to embrace the energy of this, to go with the flow, and to see exactly where this takes me. So before anyone actually shows up, let's say maybe something almost sensible. So I teach people energy, and having studied it for 23 years over, I now have a good insight as to what energy is, how to use it, and how to practically apply it to your daily life. And that's what my channel is all about. It's really for highly sensitive people, empaths, to navigate life's roadmap. Well, look at this. Plant Lady is here already. Plant Lady, fair play to you. You're my first person on here. I don't know quite how you get on these streams so quickly, especially since I didn't give any warning. I've just decided to go for it, and as you'll see from the way that I've positioned today's thread, after the last couple, let's just embrace the lunacy of whatever happens on here today. So that is the vibe that I'm going to vibe with today. I don't know. And I was just saying that I'd start off by saying something almost sensible. Well, actually, I think it's fairly sensible about energy. So what is it? People ask me, what is it? Oh, yes, I've had energy once. There's so many myths and misconceptions about what energy is and how it works. And my role is to make it as easy and practical for people as possible. But more so, what's really energy about? Energy is about, how we show up in our life. If we're down, are we going to stay down? And if we're up, are we going to stay up? And energy is managing it all in the middle. Because let's face it, we have bad days as well. And how do you get yourself out of that? And energy is about how to have the tools so that you can decide, if you're having a bad day, that you've got the tools to change your mind. Say, no, I'm not going to have a bad day anymore. And let's just bring that alive, because some of you say some awful stuff happens to me. I was speaking to a friend earlier who had one of his best friends end up burning himself alive. Now, that's a really serious sort of thing to do. I can't think of anything more serious than that. And suddenly we're cracking jokes about it. Now, some of you might say that's really bad taste. But from somebody that's worked in a serious healthcare setting for 13 years at the front line, someone that can make you laugh in your darkest moment is an absolute gift. It's a gift to humanity, and that's the sort of lunacy that we roll with on here. So yeah, it's a little bit different. So on the last couple of streams, what came up? Well, somebody told me that I looked like Captain Picard. So we went down a little space exploration thing. And I also got told I look like Arnie Slot. Now, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm quite happy to be associated with Arnie Slot. And I had all sorts of troll comments. So I just say, let's go for it. Let's absolutely go for it today. So Plant Lady said, I've just finished a lovely meditation and just about to go cook, but thought I'd say hi. Your live turned my bad day around yesterday. Well, thank you, Plant Lady. I'm glad that it was able to do that. That's what they're for. I've learned to roll with it, and I quite like the random energy that these lives have. And not only that, because I'm on the naughty step at the moment, on the YouTube naughty step, I'm finding that the lives are actually getting me people looking at the channel that wouldn't normally be. So let's bring this alive, because I'm going to guess now, it's probably because I swear too much. YouTube have blacklisted me. So for the last 6 weeks, my channel subscribers have gone down. And that was after having like a fairly steady incline on my subscriber count. And then suddenly I just got blacklisted. Naughty stepped is what I got. Then I got this message through, live verticals, do a live vertical. So I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's do a live vertical. That's what I'm going to do. So I decided to go for it today and see what happened. And rather than try and position it seriously, I just thought I'd add a lunatic theme. because I seem to be attracting them on these life verticals. And for those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new to this channel, when I use the word lunatic, I know it might trigger a few of you, but I don't really care. Because my parents were both psychiatric nurses and I grew up in the grounds of a bona fide lunatic asylum. So when I talk about lunacy, it really is coming from a place of having grown up in it, and from someone that gives a few talks, and I've done a few public talks over the years, and sometimes the audience aren't engaged, sometimes they are, and how you open up, really, it sets the tone of the rest of it. And so there was a time where I'd start my talks by saying, I've got a confession. Before we go, I've got a confession that I've spent 17 years of my life in a lunatic asylum. And the reaction of the audience always used to tell me quite a lot on that front. So it's like, John has just jumped on. Please do not disturb. I'm meditating. Sorry, John. Well, I'm glad that you managed to interrupt your meditation to join this lunacy. What does that say about you, that you're now meditating with a lunatic, talking in the background, talking about growing up in a psychiatric hospital, which I did. So I tell people I spent 17 years in a lunatic asylum, and some people sometimes laugh nervously. And then some people say, yes, I know what you mean. And I say, no, I'm not sure that you do, because we really did. The staff accommodation was on site. So because my parents both worked in the psychiatric hospital, we lived within the grounds. So when I used to go to school, people were a little bit unsure. The kids were unsure about me. It's like these lunatics on day release. They're letting them out of the asylum into school. And so that is how I started life, being from the asylum and being released on day release. But there's a bigger picture to that. Some of you might be looking and say, oh, what a terrible thing for kids to go through. But it was different times, because I went to school in the 70s and 80s, and that was a very different time. And there were bona fide lunatics in the area that I grew up in. And because we were coming in from the psychiatric hospital, and we were lunatics on day release, the bona fide lunatics, and some of them are dead and doing time right now, just to bring this alive, kids in my school doing time, some for some serious crimes. They used to leave me alone because they just weren't sure how lunatic I was. So growing up in that environment was a bonus. It was a bonus, my friends. So there you go. There's a little bit of random for you. A bit of random to disturb your meditation, John. As Plant Lady goes off and cooks. So yes, I never know what's going to happen on these lives. I never know who's going to jump in. I don't know what's going to turn up. But we've had some really interesting flows of it lately. And the last two I did were just so random that I ended up laughing for most of it. So I realized there's no point coming on these lives with any sort of agenda or things that I think I'm going to talk about anymore, that I'm just going to wing it and go with the flow. So there you go, my Jedi friends. I have thrown it open to all comers in the comments to take this thread wherever you want it. So in the last thread, I had an Arsenal fan on, and we ended up having some mad football conversation, and I think I was called Arnie Slot. So I am happy to be Arnie Slot because he's full of success, and he's guiding the Scouts team to great success right now, and to help us to win things for a change, which is good. So there you have it. It's all good, friendly lunacy on this live. So as I say, I didn't know where I was going to go, and on the first live stream I had, I got told I looked like Picard from the Starship Enterprise. Starship captains, folks. I've been a starship captain. So it's all good, friendly fun on that front as well. And it all good. These are with these random sort of threads, it sort of opens up other aspects of myself, because I am a bit of a sci-fi fan, and I watched all of the Deep Space Nines. That was my favorite Star Trek. And being board captains, they had the Cisco, didn't they? So I don't know if there's any of you other Trekkies on here that have that sort of brand of lunacy. But anyway, let's talk about practical stuff. Until I get trolled, I'll talk about sort of practical stuff and see where it goes. See where this lands me, my Jedi friends. So I work with energy, I teach energy. I started off in the world of Reiki, and that was taught to me in a very complicated way. It took me years to unpick it, to unfold it. But the bottom line was I was working with it and I was seeing good results. So energy work it can be what I could only describe as miraculous in certain situations, especially when doctors are saying one thing and the energy work goes in the complete opposite direction, gets a very different result. So that's how I got interested, just by using it and seeing the practical application that it had. And then I started working with people that were pretty much at death's door, reviewing their life, going through all of their regrets, and then doing a bit of coaching and energy mentoring when people get stuck in their life. So the area that I targeted of the people that I work with is mainly guys, because I help them through when they start thinking about feeling suicidal. Now, they're not seriously being suicidal, but that's the point they have to reach to realize that they need help. So I'm working with that demographic. And not only that, I mean, it's not just entirely blokes, but blokes tend to be the ones that are far more likely to take action on suicidal thoughts. So making that real and getting people on board and realizing that you have to reach that point. That people are sensitive to energy, and this is really important, will almost definitely feel suicidal at some point. And why is that, Adam? Why is that? So this happens because people that are sensitive to energy tend to be all things to everything, or to everyone. They're the people that drop everything, they'll help people, they're the backup, they are the rock that everyone leans on. And quite often they'll compromise their own well-being, or if you've got your feet up one day watching your favorite box set or film and a friend phones up and a friend in need or someone in need, you'll sacrifice your activity of relaxing to help them. And this is good in most situations. But there reaches a point in life that if you're not putting your own well-being first, eventually you'll start to lose the sense of who you are, and you'll start to feel worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is why most people that are sensitive to energy have to have that meltdown. There'll be a point in your life where you start to feel that you're trapped, that a lifetime of dropping everything to help everyone will leave you in a point where your energy is so low that you'll quite often have suicidal thoughts. So I'm just here to normalize that, because this is like a normal rite of passage for a lot of people. And that's just the way that it rolls, my Jedi friends. It's the way that it rolls. So the only thing to do in that situation is to take total ownership of your own energy. And this is where I step in. So if you're having a bad day, or you're thinking you're having a bad day, that you've got the tools to turn it around without needing anyone else around, to independently be able to change your energy like that. And not only this, my Jedi friends, there's sometimes, and I've worked with energy for 23 years, there's sometimes where I might hit a low place and I know that I just need to stay there for a bit because I need to get the lessons of it. So if you're having a down day, then you just might need to sit there and think, what has caused this? How have I facilitated this? How did life get to this point? And you might need to sit with that energy in order to get the learning that comes from it. So in the world of energy, let's start here. In the world of energy, there is no such thing as positive or negative emotion. What does that mean? So what it means is our emotions are like energy in motion. So it's like a sat nav. It's just like a sat nav. So Energy in motion is a sat nav to tell you where you are in your life, in your world, within your thoughts. And if you're identifying with a negative emotion, it's because your life has taken you to a place that isn't working, that you're doing something that isn't working, that you're feeling something that isn't working, that you're trapped in a dynamic that isn't working. Energy in motion. It's not negative, it's just a guide that this isn't working for you. Now, if you take it as a guide and then you move yourself to a better place, say, okay, that's not working, let's go to a better place, then the emotion was never negative. It was positively moving you or positively waking you up to the fact this didn't work and encouraging you to move to a better place. And this is why there's no such thing as a negative emotion. Energy in motion is emotion. So if you're feeling great, let's take it to the other side. If you're feeling great, that's your body's sat nav, that's your energy in motion telling you that whatever you're doing in this moment, this is good. This aligns with everything that you are. So for me, that happens when I'm having fun, which is why I've quite enjoyed these live sessions, because we can flow down whatever sort of surreal avenue that we want, and I never know where they're going to go. So here I am, 16 minutes in, and I've been able to just talk randomly. On all of the other lives I've done, I'm usually getting trolled by now. So it's quite interesting that I set this up for lunacy and for a bit of trolling, and now no trolls are coming out. Maybe I'll have to set it up more seriously in the future to attract them out of the woodwork. Maybe it's not as appealing if I'm giving them carte blanche to come in and do what they like. But this is what we're talking about. So when I work with people, I teach them energy, but we also teach them how your emotions work and how to feel better, more sustainably. That's it. That is the role of working with someone like me who teaches energy and is an energy mentor. And part of my background is working with people who had serious health issues. So in my role as a nurse, I worked in acute medicine, acute surgery, and I also worked in cardiac care. So let's unpick this. People used to come in to the cardiac care ward and they just had a heart attack. Now, what that means by the time you get to the cardiac care ward is that you've done permanent damage to your heart. There's no other way to say it. You've done permanent damage. And in some cases, it's worse than others. The amount of damage depends on all sorts of factors. But people are trying to make sense of it. And one of the things that I used to get quite a lot is there were no warning symptoms. So here's the wake-up call, my Jedi friends. There is always warning symptoms of a heart attack, always. It's just people get really good at not noticing. People get good at not noticing the early warning symptoms of a heart attack. And so that's when I started working with energy. I started to realize that there's like lifetime of symptoms. And I've reached a point in my life now, I can ask people about 10 or 15 questions and I can know exactly how at risk they are of a stroke, of a heart attack, and of cancer. And I have to say, for the record, this isn't medical advice. I just can do it. Even though I was medically trained, and even though I've worked with energy, and even though I've worked with thousands of people throughout my life, navigating some of the most difficult things in their lives. Yes, there's caveats on this because I'm not a doctor. Not a doctor. I've argued and fallen out with many doctors, ironically enough, because not all doctors know what they're talking about. In fact, there's quite a few that don't know what they're talking about, my Jedi friends. Never completely trust a doctor. There's a bit of insight for you. And not only that, you have to realize that quite often the solution for a medical solution is drugs. Is to take drugs, my Jedi friends, because there's a pill for every ill. Such is the way that we roll these days. That's the way that we roll. So There's different ways of dealing with things, and energy, I've just found, is our own way of taking control of our own energy, of our own mind, of our own body. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't a place for the medical system. Let's face it. If I was to break a bone or something, I would want a hospital. I'm not going to ask for a Reiki healer. So this is not alternative, it's complementary. It's a different tool in your itinerary. It's a toolkit. So it's a difference, I guess, to put it in a basic way. You've got a toolkit, and if medicine is a hammer, then maybe Reiki is a screwdriver. They're different tools that work in different ways for different situations. So we're not dealing with an either or here. And that's the important thing, my Jedi friends, that you have to get your head around, is that there's no one size fits all. The more tools you have, the more flexibility you have to deal with whatever life throws at you. And let's face it, we're all going to get old unless we die suddenly, and we're all going to have to navigate all sorts of nasty things along the way. So having different skill sets, different tools, different options is part of the journey, especially working with energy. So there you have it, my Jedi friends. I've rambled on about energy and not a single comment or question about it. So either I've hypnotized you, it's going on in the background, no one's got any questions, or I am just simply dazzling you with all of this information. So there you have it. That's how energy works. And that's what this channel is about. It is about taking control of your energy and your mood. That's it. That's it. That's what working with energy does. And the only reason you'd want to learn it is if you want to feel better more sustainably, or if you'd like a tool that helps you to work more effectively with your friends. And not only that, this works at distance as well. You don't even need to be in the same room. Now, some people talk about hands-on healing. That really is. People only put their hands on you because most people don't understand how energy works and believe if your hands aren't on them, it's not working. That's not true at all. You can do distance healing. And it's another good thing about working with energy. I don't need to be in the same room to energize people. I do not need to be in the same room to do what I do. And that's part of working with energy as well. So there you go, my Jedi friends. And here's another thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people realize with energy work as well. If you've got pets, especially cats and dogs, they absolutely love it. You'll become the most popular person in the room if you're a healer, because pets really feel it and they love it. So I've noticed now it's a bit of a gift and a curse, because around the house now, the cats are always tripping me up. If I walk in the room, I get like a big reception. They'll jump off the chair and they'll walk up to me. I'm sometimes tripping up. I'm tripping up over the cats all over the house because they like the energy. So there you go. That's how we roll here, folks. That's how we roll. And that's energy. So I actually think I've recorded a good bit of content around what energy is, how it works, the fact that it's a sat-nav, that it's energy in motion, and that you have the complete power to make your life better. And that's what it is. And I would encourage you, my Jedi friends, if you are just a little bit curious about what it is and how it can help you and how it can work with your life, then reach out to me. Send me a message, leave a comment. Let's have a chat, because this stuff is life-changing. And it's taken me 23 years to really fully understand the nuance of working with energy. And the reason why most people don't think it's working, and why they don't think it's working, and how it actually works. It's taken me lots of years and lots of experience to understand the nuance of working with energy. And here's the big thing, as in with my own journey. A lot of people think if they go for an energy treatment or if they have an energy session, that they're going to feel really energized at the end of it. When in actual fact, sometimes working with energy, it has to take you to the root cause of what's causing your pain, which means that things can get worse before they get better. And this is something that people aren't expecting. It's a bit of a surprise. It's a bit of a wake-up call to people. So there you have it, my Jedi friends. There is a summary of what it is to work with energy. And that feels complete. It feels like there is a complete energy lesson within this video already. And I have to say that I am slightly disappointed we didn't have the troll army come in and take me down a complete rabbit hole today like they did in the last 2 sessions. So this is the first live I've done that's actually stayed on point, or relatively on point. So yes, now I've got the, I will have to prepare some actual content for the next one. So there you have it, my Jedi friends. There is an introduction to working with energy and the stuff that it is. And I would say that if you're in any way curious and you're not already subscribed to the channel, then definitely subscribe to the channel. I say if you've got stuff going on or you identify with any of the symptoms that I've talked about today, then get in touch with me, because the stuff that I do, and I can say this now, after working with energy and working in medical settings and having the experience of working with thousands of people over all these years, that I have a lot of experience of helping people through their darkest moments. Their darkest moments, my Jedi friends, that's what I do. And that's who I am. And this has been the live stream. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate your contributions and I appreciate you being here. And may you all have a fantastic weekend, wherever in the world that you are. Have a good one, energize, and feel better, my friends. Go out and have fun, because that is what it's all about.